Hello, welcome to Coffee with Dad. I'm Dad. If you'd like to learn how to be a functioning adult and all the skills that go along with being as such, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the little bell notification so that you're sure to not miss anything. Today, we're going to talk about a life lesson about expectations and meeting the expectations that people have of you. Today, Vince McMahon of WWE fame went ahead and announced that he's relaunching the XFL Football League. For those of you that are probably too young and not dads, in 2001, Vince McMahon launched the XFL, which was the Extreme Football League. There were a few teams, I can't remember what they were, the Las Vegas Outlaws, Chicago Enforcers, LA Extreme, I think was one of them maybe. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago. But anyway, he launched that because in his mind, football was not football at the time. They weren't playing defense. There were too many penalties, this, that, and the other thing. So he launched his own league and ended up losing some money. It was with NBC. And he got crushed by the NFL because at the time they were starting to put more rules into place for quote-unquote player safety. We'll get into that in a minute. But it wasn't the right time. It was too much too soon. Although we did get the Sky Cam from the XFL, so thank you, Vince McMahon, for that. But in recent years, the NFL has gotten very political with the kneeling during the national anthem, players talking poorly about public officials and while they're on company time and stuff of that nature, and the public as a whole really hasn't taken appreciation for that because here's the thing: at the end of the day, professional sports are entertainment, and people go to see entertainment because they want to escape reality. They want a couple hours of not thinking about Black Lives Matter or race relations or how much they don't like their job right now or anything like that. They paid a couple $100 if they went to the stadium. They're taking time out of their day, probably having a small party for the game, spent money on that, hoping to forget. And when you do things like take a knee before the game, it really ruins that illusion, and you're essentially not doing your job. You're not fulfilling the expectations that people have of you. So, in walks Vince McMahon, and he says, NFL ratings are down 30%. Me personally, this dad here, I think that 50% of the people that are left would happily watch something else if the NFL didn't have an active monopoly. There's arena football, but let's be serious, that doesn't actually compete. The NFL has a monopoly, and there's nothing else for people to watch for professional football. So he said, you know what, I bet all these people want to watch something. They want to see their country respected. They want to see violent football because football is a violent game. It always has been. I believe that it will be after the XFL comes to pass in 2020. And the reason why the NFL got a little bit soft was because I believe, you had a couple injuries, you had the increase in concussion awareness and things like that, but it actually started before that. It had to do with how much they were paying the players. Nobody wants to see their $150 million quarterback get hit and be out for a season. They don't want to see, their star wide receiver, running back get hurt, be out for the season, stuff like that. So they started calling a lot more penalties on stuff like that, and the game ended up being a lot more like Madden, the football game, rather than football, which was historically based on running the ball, grinding the clock out, and playing defense. And now it's just about passing the ball. Defenses really aren't even allowed to do their job anymore. So Vince McMahon seems like he's going to fix that because the expectations, again, are escapism, entertainment. Being that he's from the WWE, the place to go if you want studio wrestling, I think he knows a thing or two about entertainment and what people want. And good for him. And, when you think about things like this and the players, you know, it's easy to get this illusion of being expected to do more. You know, you're making $10 million a year. You know, you're on a $120 million contract. You're making $1 million a year even. That's a lot of money to a lot of people in the United States. You know, it's easy to put a lot of self-importance on yourself and forget what you are, that you're an entertainer, and without people wanting to watch you, you're actually nobody. What that means is that, you know, when somebody with $10 million tries to say, you know, we have this problem, we have that problem, wage disparages, you know, I'm going to take a knee for this, a knee for that, you know, change my mind on what the knee's for, but still take the knee. Only in the greatest country the world has ever seen can you make tens of millions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars while simultaneously disrespecting the country. That is capitalism at its best, folks. So what happened was the public finally had enough. They said, you know what? You're not fulfilling your obligation to me to be entertaining. You're not providing me an escape. They've been actively looking. You know, like I said earlier in the video, NFL's down 30%. And they try to blame it on streaming, saying they can't figure out, you know, how many, you know, can't quantify the streaming and downloads and things like that. 100% they can. NSA can do it. I'm sure the major networks can do it too, as well as the NFL. You know, the fact of the matter is it's just down. You know, Patriots are in the Super Bowl again. I would say that if Patriots win again, you're going to see a lot of season ticket holders from the other teams turn their stuff in. They're tired of watching that. They want to see something new. And, you know, sometimes when you want to see something new, that new thing isn't actually new. You want to go back to the old ways. You know, a lot of people watching football now, they don't remember what it was like to watch a defense play with like Lawrence Taylor or something like that. You know, all they know is that you know, we're expecting 310-pound individuals to stop in 3 or 4 steps. Otherwise, they're going to get a penalty. I think this XFL thing is going to be a good thing. I don't think, you know, maybe the title and the thumbnail were a little bit clickbaity. I don't think they're actually going to kill the NFL. I think the NFL has a couple years before they come out to course correct. I don't think they're gonna. They haven't illustrated that that's something that's going to happen. But I do think there's room for both leagues. And I do think that if the XFL comes out and they are successful, which I think they will be, that you're going to see a major shift in pro sports in the United States of America to be more patriotic, to be more respectful of the fans, because it doesn't matter the players' intentions. You know, the players say, well, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do that. Well, you know, it doesn't matter what you meant. It matters how people interpret it. And, you know, if you taking the knee during the national anthem is upsetting people and they say it's disrespectful, then whether you believe it or not, it's actually disrespectful. Like I said earlier in the video when we were talking about this, Vince McMahon understood that expectations weren't being met, and he's going to fill them because he's a good capitalist. And it is my sincerest hope that the XFL takes the NFL to Pound Town. It really takes over a big chunk of their demographic, because I've just been tired of this PC culture. You know, they basically ruined the game, reduced it to glorified two-hand touch. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The players, you know, when it was around last time, they got paid based on wins. They did not get paid if they lost. It was a lot more fun to watch. We shall see how it goes. They haven't really made any announcements other than that they're having a league. So we'll go ahead and announce that. You know, we'll keep up with it as it goes on. Talk about what maybe the NFL has to do with it. You know, what do you guys think about expectations and meeting them? It's an important thing to do. You know, when somebody has a you know, an electrician come to their house and he doesn't wire their house, he wants to give them this diatribe about carbon emissions and how all the electricity they're using in their house is ruining the planet according to them. Nobody wanted to hear that. You were hired to do a job, which was be the electrician. The NFL players were hired to be football players. Again, it's understandable that the amount of money they're making, when you're in an echo chamber, makes it so that you don't actually understand what's going on anymore. That they think they're important, but nobody actually cares. If they couldn't throw the football or catch or run a 4.3 40, nobody cared what they were saying. All right, guys. So every video is not going to be this dank or dull. We're going to go ahead and show you guys in some other videos, how to cook, how to mend, how to have manners, how to treat other people, how men should treat women, and how, more importantly, women should treat men. I think that's a big side of the coin that's missed. How to balance a checkbook, just basically how to be a functioning adult. Just stay tuned. Go ahead and, like I said before, hit that subscribe button, bell notification, give it a like, give it a share. And that's all we have for you guys today. Till next time, I'm going to go get another cup of coffee.